Hi boys and girls! In this video, we are going to finish our texture landscape by adding color and texture to our picture. Now, I know you know what color is, but do you know what texture is? Texture is how something feels or look as though it may feel if you're drawing it in a picture. Everything has a different texture. Something can be smooth, something can be pointy or rough or bumpy. These are all different words to describe the textures that you feel every day. We're going to add some of these textures to our artwork today. Now that we know what texture is, let's start adding texture to our landscape. In order to do that, we're going to need a couple supplies. The first thing that we're going to need are crayons. And I'm not just using fresh new crayons out of my crayon box. I'm actually using old crayons and taking the paper off the side so I can use the side of my crayons to get a texture rubbing. You're also going to need different items that have different textures. You can look around the room, around your house, outside for things that have different textures. Like for instance, my tablecloth has a nice texture to it. I went outside and I grabbed some grass that has different texture to it. I have a Barbie toy that has different texture to it and a dinosaur that has the sequences. These are all different textures. I also have a plant that has two different textures that I can use and a blanket that has different textures that I can use. So why don't we do this? Why don't you go on a little texture scavenger hunt? And you can collect things of different textures that you can use in your artwork. So go ahead, grab about 5 different textures. Now that you've collected all your textures, it's time to add these textures to your landscape. We're going to do that by doing a crayon rubbing. So the first thing you need to do is take one of your textures, place it underneath your landscape, take your crayon and hold it on its side so that you're pinching it, and on the side of the crayon you're going to press down and you're going to rub. And when you do that, the texture will come through. You're going to repeat this process for the different areas in your landscape. So I'm going to take it section by section and I'm going to add different textures with different colors. Your colors can be realistic or they don't have to be. It's totally up to you. My next texture I'm going to use is this grass. I want to see how this looks. I'm going to use this nice big area and my blue crayon and I'm going to press and rub to see the new texture. See how different it is from the Lego texture? I noticed that my tablecloth has a different texture, so I'm going to use that for the path using my orange crayon. See how that's a different texture from both the Lego and the grass? Some of the objects I collected aren't flat, so that makes it kind of hard to do a crayon rubbing. For those, I'm going to fold my paper a little bit and hold it up against these objects, just like I'm doing with this flower pot here. So it doesn't have to be flat on the table. You can move your paper to the object if you need to. And then I got this cool new texture. Continue to find more objects with different textures and create new texture rubbings. Some of them might work out really well and you can repeat those textures, and some of those textures you might not like at all, and then you'll know not to use them again. If you run out of different textures or just want to try something different, try creating your own texture by drawing different patterns in the spaces. Try mixing up different lines and shapes to see what you come up with. Once you've filled up all the different areas with texture and color, your artwork is done. I hope you had fun experimenting with different textures. Bye, boys and girls.